A real passion area of myself and my team that work in the health and physical education faculty to be able to talk to you about the benefits of good structured physical education lessons and physical activity on improving academic achievement, concentration and focus. I did a paper on my master's degree that focused on this, and the outcomes were significant. One of the biggest benefits we've got here with increased physical education lessons for students of all abilities and all talents and all ages is some of these benefits here. So we're looking at reductions in stress, improvement in social skills, focusing on improvements in moods and behaviour. One of the biggest areas we're looking at is increases in student performance. And later on I'll demonstrate some of those outcomes that we've had from interviews with teachers here at the college over a 4-year period about the perceptions that they've had about students coming back from physical education lessons here at the college and the benefits that they've seen from those students in terms of their focus. Another area there is that it focuses on improvements in attention and memory. And the bottom one there is probably the newest area that we're focusing on at the moment. Given the trends with issues with mental health, with younger adolescents and the issues that are facing them across the globe, one of the biggest things about the improvements with physical activity and the increase in the amount of physical activity is that it does assist those students in control measures on how to better adapt with the natural endorphin releases that come from physical activity and better control mental health issues. So, my apologies. So there was a study done with the British Columbia that focused on physical activity, rigorous physical activity, and also looking at the benefits on the development, and these were quite sophisticated studies looking at the development and the enlargement of the hippocampus, which focuses on the area with verbal memory. This is a really big scientific breakthrough that's been looked at for the last possibly 10 years. And we've taken this on board, and I've had the privilege also of presenting at state national conferences, at the ABPatersonCollege Foundation, the Australian Council for Health, Physical Education and Research on the benefits of this. We've had students across many spectrums that have come back after lessons saying how much better that they feel. These studies are just confirming that. Another really comprehensive study coming from the Harvard Medical School in the States, one of the world leading educational institutions, focused on areas with the prefrontal cortex and the medial temporal cortex. Those that did activities had, as you can see, greater volume in those areas. When the brain has capacity with greater volume, it has better attentional focus, it has better capacity to respond to stimulus, it has better capacity to deal with the whole range of things. An indirect benefit from physical activity and increases in physical activity has so many benefits. And finally, what you're about to see from a few years back is we've structured specific lessons in our classes that focus on students engaging both areas of the brain, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. The more we can do that in tandem, the better the development in the brain. And you'll see the activity here of a prep student from a few years ago. Just have a good focus on what they're doing with their spatial awareness across the line here on the beam, and also addressing a task that's in front of them. Have a look. So in front of this student, there's a numeracy task, which is focusing specifically on the left side of the brain engagement. In isolation, it will be only utilising the left side of the brain, as well as focusing spatially on moving forward, which is the right side of the brain. So on its own, doing those individual tasks on their own produces isolated use of the left and the right side brain. The more that we can engage activities like this, structuring it correctly and efficiently so that we can engage both hemispheres of the brain, provides greater stimulation, greater growth in the hippocampus, and again, naturally, the students are going to have much more capacity with their academic achievement. They focus better in class. Again, going back to the natural endorphin release that comes from physical activity, both prior to heavy engagement in schoolwork and for recovery purposes. Absolutely fundamental. The next activity is an older student, slightly older student that does a literacy. Again, left side brain. Logic, literacy, mathematics, all those areas. Crucial. Literacy is crucial. One of the fundamentals in improving student achievement across the board is the fundamentals. Skipping. Have a look at this. The student's actually calling this out, identifying missing vowels in certain words, all whilst trying to be spatially aware, doing what they're doing here. Got a little bit stuck on the last one, but said I could get it, but I just couldn't quite. They knew what it was, and they couldn't quite. So, activities. So we structure different activities. We don't just run like skipping. We don't just run. And this isn't the be-all and end-all. But the students, when you speak to them, like they're just saying that my brain just feels so alert after doing this. So alert. And we do this with our preps all the way through to year 12. So alert. And we do this with our preps all the way through to year 12. And the overwhelming response from my colleagues and also from the students is exactly that. They just feel so alert. Again, it's the natural endorphins indirectly developing brain capacity when activities are designed to use both hemispheres of the brain, not in isolation. So they're sitting in class doing that logical work, mathematical work, literacy, a whole range of tasks, drama, and then also using spatial imagination, spatial awareness with games. So we cross-link. This is just an example, and they range from all young kids. If you have opportunities in your own time to do this with your students, absolutely fantastic. This activity we set up here is a more complex one where kids are jogging on the spot, for example, and they've got to go through and identify factors of 2, and they've got a 2 and someone's circle. It's quite a difficult task to do, especially whilst you're jogging on the spot or along the line or skipping or doing a whole range of activities all the way to the finish. That was an example of one of the ones we did with our younger students, where the students just had to identify the missing vowel. It can change in design construct, but this is all whilst the kids are studying their work in PE. The survey here that came out on the left is a 2-page comprehensive document that was gone through, and just to show you, it's probably a little bit hard to see at the moment, but just to show you like an example, when teachers completed this, the results on the next page will astound you. These are genuine teachers over a 4-year period. On the right side here is just an example of the different processes that are involved and required by the brain. So the more that you can interrelate those two, the better the development. So I'll just show you here, they're the results, fairly significant. And that was taken over a 4-year period, 2009 all the way through to 2012. And the teachers, this is as soon as the students came back from class, their perception on the benefit of physical activity, physical education lessons. It's all about balance. The whole thing's about balance. So clearly a lot more focused. This is not the students, this is actually the teachers, how they perceive their students in the class. So really comprehensive. So in closing, real passionate area. I encourage you strongly to engage with, where possible, with your own children in activities like this. There is so much to learn about the brain. There is a huge focus now on neuroplasticity in the field of neuroscience. I'm a health and physical education specialist. I've been teaching for 20 years, 15 years here at the college. Absolutely love the college. I think that it's so dynamic and so innovative in so many ways. But areas like this are all new. I've spoken to neurologists, I've spoken to neuroscientists, and they believe truly that what we're trying to do here is going to only benefit students now and in the future. So thank you for your time.